Hey, this is Joe Gilder from HomeStudioCorner.com. Today I want to show you a simple way to deal with buzz on electric guitar tracks, specifically at the end of a song, where you want the electrics to ring out the final chord, and maybe there's a little bit of buzz from the amp that you don't want to be heard, honestly, at the end. You want it to be a nice, smooth, play the final chord and let it ring out. So let me play you, this is a song I was just mixing this week, one of my songs from upcoming album, which will be done mixing at the end of January 2015. Anyway, here's the final couple bars of that song. And listen specifically when we get to this part right here, where the final chord, as it gets to about right here, it's fine. And then about right here is where you start to hear the bzzz of these three guitars. Okay, so take a listen. So right there, you hear that? So some of that is, there's a lot going on here that could have been done a little bit better in recording. I recorded this guitar with two different amps in stereo, and I used a ground lift Hum X little dealio to make the buzz a lot less pronounced, but I could have used better equipment to make that not have that buzz, but I thought the trade-off of having a little bit of buzz for getting the cool stereo sound was worth it. Watch out the edge. And then these guitars were just plugged straight in, and there's just a little bit of buzz because it's a higher gain kind of Marshall sound here. Right? Okay, so hang on real quick. Let me check one thing. Okay, now that's more like it. So here's just the guitars on that final. I had those guitars rolled off on accident. Here's the final chord again, just the guitar, so you can hear it. It's good, and then boom. Suddenly there's a lot of buzz. And so a lot of times what you may do is bring these fades up to start fading right here, but that just it just doesn't sound right. It sounds forced and obvious. So here's what that would sound like. So, it's just an obvious fade out, and you still hear the buzz, and I'd like for this to ring out for several seconds because it's a big song. I think it's going to be the opening song on the album. I want it to ring out and let it just sit for a minute before the next song. And so, but with the buzz, I don't like that either. So here's what I did. I took on these tracks, they each have an EQ plugin on them, as you can see here. And pretty typical just guitar EQ. And what I did is I automated the high pass filter on this EQ. So I automated it to roll off the high frequencies as the song fades out. So if we switch these, if we turn the automation back on both of these, you'll see I did it on the bus for these two guitars and on this individual track as well. I could have done it on the entire guitar bus now that I think about it, but that's okay. So now if we look at the EQ, which is on this track right here, if you watch it during this section, this yellow line corresponds to the automation. You'll see it rolls off the high frequencies. So listen to what that sounds like. So as the buzz starts to come in, we roll off the high frequencies, which is where most of the buzz resides. And then we did the same thing on these guitars as well. So just when the buzz starts to come in and be noticeable, we roll off the high frequencies. And that's really what the sustain of these guitars, what holds out for another minute if you let it, is mostly these lower frequencies anyway. So we're not really missing anything tone-wise, but we're keeping the sustain of everything without losing, without adding in the buzz, but we also don't lose the sustain by rolling it off or fading it out too quickly. So here, let's give you the final, let you hear it again, what it sounds like. The final version. You'll notice it's a much smoother transition. The guitars hold out all the way to here, but the buzz goes away about right here. Isn't that great? You get to this point in the song, and there's still, you can maybe pick out the buzz on headphones if you listen really closely, but it's much, much, much better situation than it was before. It was all with automating a simple high-pass filter a low-pass filter on an EQ. And it was that easy. So yes, you want to record with as little buzz as possible, but in those situations where you have a track, everything's sounding amazing, but you just have that little buzz you want to deal with on the final fade out of the song, this is how you do it. So, hope that was helpful for you. File that away in your bag of tricks for the next song you have that's going to need this treatment, and you'll be glad you did. Also, if you're not subscribed to the Home Studio Corner newsletter, email newsletter, make sure you go to homestudiocorner.com and sign up. When these songs are finished and this album is finally mixed and released, I'll be adding these songs, making them available for download. So the only way to really find out about that is to be on the newsletter. So check that out, and thanks for listening. See ya.